Hello and welcome to this Mud Hub production. Thank you so much for joining us for the third edition of In My Feelings. I hope we are in our feelings tonight. We're going to be exploring and expressing our deepest emotions and immersing you in this virtual poetry experience accompanied by some live music. This event is organized by Mud Hut.io. We are a creative storytelling platform aimed at offering people new experiences by infusing tech into entertainment and supporting artists to leverage tech in their work as well. We're building a community by hosting immersive live events like this, focused on poetry, theatre, and so much more. And we're so thankful that you've decided to join us tonight, and we really hope you enjoy the show that you have or we've planned tonight. We're also going to be having our very first live show in London on the 25th of August. We really hope you can make it. It'd be really nice to actually share this experience with everyone in a room as well. So please join us, and there'll be more information on our social media after this as well. We would like to invite you, members of the audience, to join us today to participate by dropping your thoughts, any comments you have as our poetry, their poetry. We're also going to use that to generate some AI towards the end of the session. So, any feelings you have, if you're feeling inspired, a couple lines of poetry, please drop it in the comments, and you can scan the QR code as well to do that. We have two poets today. First, joining us, we have Alex, who is an employability program manager at an educational charity, which is aimed at improving social mobility and addressing educational inequality. Alex is an alumnus of Warwick University and University College London, holding a Bachelor's of Arts in Politics and International Studies, and a merit in Masters of Science, Global Governance and Ethics from UCL, respectively. Alex is one of the top 150 future leaders in the UK of African and Caribbean descent in 2019-2020, having been recognized for her work in widening participation and youth mentorship. Alex is also a spoken word poet who has previously performed at the British Museum and Chatham House, to name a few. If all of that was not impressive enough, Alex has actually created her own website called Lex Expresses, where she documents her poetry surrounding themes such as politics, identity, race, and child marriage. Her website has actually already attracted more than 8,000 views, so definitely take a look at that as well. Let's welcome the phenomenal Alex Victor to our couch, where she'll take us into the wondrous world of the poetry.
Okay. Firstly, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Alex, and it's my absolute pleasure to be performing some spoken word for you today. I am planning to do three poems centered around being in my feelings, just in different ways, and each poem kind of covers different aspects of that, whether that's relationship with myself, broken relationship with others, and blooming of a new relationship. So I hope you like those pieces. But with my first piece, the title is Overwhelmed by the Weight of the World. I'm drowning, not by the weight of the world, but by the weight of my mind. My mind. I've tried to take back control of my mind, but it seems to be winning with the wicked plan it devised. I'm drowning, not by the weight of the world, but of the weight of my mind. This world has not been very kind, and the news has been even bleaker. Post-COVID effects, cost of living, and worries has me feeling weaker. Feelings of despair, anxiety, and worry have been digging deeper into my soul, swallowing me whole. and leaving me feeling so small. What does feeling overwhelmed look like? It looks like experiencing daily fear. It feels severe. It can operate in a limited sphere, but can encompass all areas of your life and deep into your atmosphere. It can impact your well being, your relationships, and career. It may not always be that way, but that doesn't mean it won't always reappear. It feels like wanting everything to disappear. Feelings of overwhelmness has been made worse by social media, heightening feelings of low self-worth, things that may hit a nerve and cut deep when you see someone of a different world, which can make you feel worse. With everything you feel inside, it's hard when you feel left behind and cast aside, wanting the negative feelings to subside, but knowing that they're here for a ride. The feelings get stronger at nights. Being alone with your thoughts that run into overdrive, they intensify, grow, occupy your head so much that you struggle to get to bed and struggle to think ahead of brighter days. Instead, only seeing threats after threats, constant upsets, feeling wrecked, wanting to start over again. I'm overwhelmed by the weight of the current world and the thoughts of what's ahead. I'm overwhelmed, way out of my head and way out of my depth. I'm drowning. Thinly, I'm spread. What's lacking is my strength. I want to better myself, especially for my health. But I can't stop these tears falling down my face and down my flesh. I'm drowning externally, but internally, I'm screaming. I'm screaming, but I feel like no one can hear me. It falls on deaf ears. I'm reaching out my hand to help, but I pull it back. I hate feeling like a burden. Even though mentally I feel compelled to reach for help, I feel scared to. And so I'm drowning, not by the weight of the world, but of the weight of my mind, my mind. I've tried to take back control of my mind, but it seems to be winning with the wicked plan it devised. Where do we go from here? How can I get through this ordeal? How can I be me again? How can I heal? So that was the first poem, which tackled just the mental health struggles that I felt kind of post-COVID, especially last year. And this poem, the second poem I'm about to do, is mainly my feels of falling out of love, and just the feelings that resulted from that, and just failed situationships and everything. So this next poem I'm about to do is called We Fell Out of Touch. We fell out of love and out of touch, not only physically but also emotionally. Where is your touch? The touch that always made me feel like I was enough. The touch that never felt too much for me but was always too much for you. There was a time when you were proud I was yours and you were mine. A time where any time you'd call, I'd be running. Any plan you made, any previous plan I had in mind, I would happily decline. For you, my heart would be overtime. So what's happened to the person whose actions ended up making me become a recluse? To me, you had so much to prove. I don't love easily, so I had a lot more to lose. And you came in so smooth, seemingly ready to commit. You saw me first. Innocent eyes, smart and bright, the grown woman's body, hips wide. You said you wanted to show me more than just the good time. You wanted to break my walls down and show me that we were indeed aligned. I was so confused. Are you meant to fall in love that quickly? Clearly, I was head over heels for you. I felt silly, but simply like a domino, I was falling for you. You were never too busy for me, always wanted to spend time with me, wanted to feel more of my touch. Over time, we always considered the word trust, not love, because we didn't want to rush, but we were falling for each other. It wasn't my body that you touched, but my heart and mind you made love to. But there came a time where any love and affection previously made disappeared out of sight so violently, like a thief in the night. It was as if we were a garden that decayed over time. The plants we grew had not been watered, and the atmosphere we created felt toxic. Suddenly, sour began to decline. We fell out of touch, and more so, it felt as if you fell out of love with me. I was a woman who could provide for myself, and now I felt myself begging for your attention regularly. It was only you I could see. I'd fallen in too deep. And now the tables had turned, your bridges burnt. I once was your burning flame, but now you didn't want to claim me. Your lack of actions, care, and emotions was like throwing water all over me. Broken I became, unsettling my world like a hurricane. It is such a shame how violently, unexpectedly, and quickly we fell out of love with each other. I had once thought I was your lover, and that is mine. I also thought I made your heart flutter. But growing one-sided love is rough, and not getting the love you got at the beginning is tougher. We've gone backwards, and such love is so hard to recover. We fell out of touch, and the only one I blame is myself. What if I was prettier? What if I had better health? What if I was more ambitious and had greater wealth? I ask myself these questions, thinking that compared to you, I am less. I guess you didn't love me back. And because I couldn't convince you to, I caused this mess. I would have begged until my knees were red. I would have said anything to make you stay. I ask myself these questions on the difficult days when I miss your touch and wish you never went away. Those days when the pain cannot be prayed away, I hate how much I feel betrayed by you. My mind in disarray, my dismay at realizing you decided to walk away and leave me in this way. Those days when I crave the touch that always made me feel like I was enough, the touch that never felt too much for me but was always too much for you. But it takes two to stay in touch. So if I can't convince you to work for this and be ready for this to come true, then it's best we stay out of touch. You're a stranger now. Someone I once knew, someone who jumped into love. Not love, but lust, which was a rushed decision. There was no way I could have envisioned we would now become strangers. But we ultimately fell out of touch and stayed out of it. As we now have made that transition from trust to suspicion, from peace to ammunition, from touch to indecision. And the final piece that I want to do is inspired by being in my feelings and falling in love, which definitely resonates with how I'm feeling recently. So this poem is called A Poem to My Muse. You found me deep in my garden, still waiting to bloom, waiting to be ready for you. We all know a beautiful garden takes time to grow. Although the end process is worth it, the process is laborious, a lot of work. You only see the colors and the petals, but not the stems and roots that grew below. You can't get flowers without rain. And to grow my garden and my roots and stems, I had to go through a lot of pain that I can't even explain. Pain I had to feel deep within my membrane, pain that never made me feel the same, and pain that I had to use to reclaim my power and to divert blame for myself for not knowing any better. But having processed the pain, processed the terror, I'm now ready to nurture the garden I grew for myself. As I savor this new adventure of self-love and discovering myself at the center. Until you met me in my garden, I was such a pretender. I tried to convince myself I was wholly independent, that I didn't need anyone, that life by myself was pleasant, that I was in a mode of contentment, when really, to me, having someone water your garden as well as yourself is better. You met me where I was at in my garden. New leaves and new needs, and within 2 days, you had already met them all, removing all my old weeds of sorrow and replacing them with the new belief that men can love you completely and that not every man sets out to deceive. There hasn't been one day since we met where you haven't called me queen. With you, there is no in between, you're all in. You uncovered a part of me previously unseen. I don't smoke, but you're my addiction, my lead, my nicotine. If I could scream from the rooftops every day how much you mean to me, I would, because you're my king, and to me you mean everything. And so our journey into love begins. I've let you into my garden and the world I've created. I waited and waited for a blessing in the form of you. And now that I have you here, the love I have inside has been reawakened. My love for you is uncomplicated. I'm captivated by who you are as a person. It's as if I fell for you deeply unaided. I'm grateful for your devotion to me. You are worth going through all the emotions and all the hard emotions. I'm thankful for all our moments. I admire your nobleness. With you, there were no cautions. For the first time, I trusted someone wholeheartedly. Before you in love, I had no hope. And now I am a hopeless romantic. I'm ecstatic. I met someone as amazing and caring as you have been. Our love reminds me of spring. It's new and always blooms. I can't wait for that next step where we can exchange rings and do that thing where we walk down the aisle as husband and wife, the king and his queen. How thankful am I that all these routes and journeys I went through led me to you, my muse. I write this poem for you. I'm thankful for how you found me, lost and confused, anxious for my past, but still believing in love that is pure and true. So out the blue, but my biggest blessings came true. Whenever people ask me if God is true, I look at you and thank Him for bringing you into my life and for reviving and revitalizing my garden. And so you found me deep in my garden, in full bloom, ready for you. With you, every day is a honeymoon. And it's through you I know my blessings are true. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex, for sharing and being so vulnerable with us, taking us through the different phases, being in a less than viable relationship, moving from that to fulfillment and actually feeling equally, in tune with someone. And I think all of us can kind of relate to all of those things, be it relationship or just feeling weighed down by the world and the things that we have to deal with as we transition into being full grown adults. Next, we have Deborah. who is a remarkable and self-assured politics graduate with an unyielding work ethic. Whether she's spearheading national campaigns, inspiring and advocating for women's rights, or orchestrating thought-provoking discussions with her clients, her dedication and passion are truly unmatched. Deborah's favorite themes revolve around her profound love for God, exploring relationships, and matters of identity. Let's now welcome Deborah onto the stage as she lets us into her world and allows us to experience her artistic prowess.
Hi everyone. I'm excited actually. This sounds beautiful. And the first poem that I have today, that I'm reading from my huge fan laptop, is called. When I find it. Yeah. Okay. First poem that I'm gonna read today is called 5 Years From Now. 5 years from now, I'll be an adult, clothed in the riches of memories that I built, an investor in lifetime moments. As I sell away my insecurity, find a peace that surpasses understanding. 5 years from now, I will be secure. In a future set for me, the ultimate day planner, shining his glory in this little light I possess. 3 years from now, I will be comfortable in the body that grows with me, upholding every beauty and every spot and blemish, rough faces and glossy lips, snug in styles that accentuate this skin. I'll do my poem again, so you guys can see my beautiful face. Okay, cool. I'll actually do another one. So the first poem I have is Mother, Father, Childhood. And do let us know what you think as well in the comments or wherever you are. Baby girl, I'm so sorry. You have to grow up now. Be the 17-year-old in this 7-year-old body. For daddy's no longer coming back. He loved the corner shop more than he loved being a cornerstone. In this home, too busy raising hands on the one he called his better half. Greater to be divided in healing than complete in pain. So you'll become a pillar now, holding up this inner child. Can't rely on British shoulders that yearn for dependency. They will depend on you. For an intimacy you never knew. You cannot crumble. Even if you are young, mommy cannot fulfill both roles, so you'll need to be two. Motherhood without the children, fatherhood without him. As these offspring were born of the same womb, never to bat an eye at the unwarranted weight you carried. You became the pillar that never folds. Bedtime tuck-ins now exchanged for necessary night shifts. Never opening front doors when she's away at work. They'll take you away. They'll take you away if you do. Mother's money will be managed amongst million mouths. You'll wipe their tears whilst you hold yourself up. They'll yearn for hugs, After you do their school runs, mum will become their Freudian slip, declaring a title over you, child, filling in for parents' evenings, dreaming of when you'll become a personal check-in. For 7-year-olds are never meant to bear this. You have been chosen to adopt this trait called maturity. You see, the privilege of being the eldest means you're always putting yourself last, even when you were born first. So baby girl, I'm so sorry that your trauma was confused with wisdom, that pleated school skirts were confused with polished perspectives, that you never got a break from adulting in childhood. I'm sorry that you never grew up, for daddy's never coming back, and we've accepted that. So that's the first one. It speaks of me being an elder daughter, and all that fantastic trauma that comes with it. But there's a beauty in that for sure. Now the next poem that I have is, I had a crush on this guy. Obviously everyone has a crush on someone at least once in their life. And I imagined us both being able to take pictures of each other. And this is what I wrote. So it's called Morning Memoirs. Take out this camera, you said. Focus on his posture. Blur out all distractions and imperfections. Let me see the light you hold. Snap back to the moments that only I seem to look back upon. Every blink capturing not every frame. Joy and pain now looks the same. Another filter to master obvious, that this smudge lens hid from view, the beauty only I saw within you. A coffee-coloured canvas, silhouetting in this red room, dripping into a well of wishful thinking, here hung a ray of emotions, captured by 4x4 dimensions, bordered by tranquility and artistry, but I needed to see clearly. Covered in caramel blues and sunset hues, stained amber muse, this crimson ruse became my primary view. Colours coating this troubled imagination, filled with frustration. This feeling I feel to emulate and keep, copy, not cut, paste, print, jam. My only error was printing for two, hoping to see right through. Transparency was never your speciality. Did you always lie to me? Let my thoughts settle on the same page, whilst you wander aimlessly, eyes never on this masterpiece. So you lost the gloss in your eyes, and warmth in your lips. Framed with dust, shadowed by time, grey became your new shade. Somber and solemn, warm corners weighed in. Between the whispers of these pages, bearing the weight of this weariness, only I admired your motionless picture. Set on this mantelpiece, a lifeless love, hung in the gallery of my mind. An exhibition now expired, agony retired, no longer required my memory. So yeah, don't have crushes. So yeah, the last poem that I have today, and I think I'll make it a short one, only because I really do like this poem. And it's called Every Time I Think of Orange. Every time I think of orange, I think of the sweetness that has hoarded my tongue. How every peel removed every other layer, as you would slowly take down what once held itself together. It's these deep touches that would help this gentle movement to my cervix center. Every time I think of orange, I think of sweetness that drips down in this warm stomach. Every time I think of orange, I think of honeydew drops that drip down and glaze. Its territory claiming these newfound lips as mine. The vitamin D removed all this tiredness every time I think of orange. I think of smells that tease my taste buds, sensually smothering my synapses as my sense would switch on the sensation of your outer skin. It is every time I think of orange. I remember the sunsets we are yet to see, and sunrises we are yet to be in. I think of every ocean we are yet to swim in, and every song we are yet to sing along to. Every time I think of orange, I think of you. I think of what could have been. As the sun is never late to set, so are the thoughts of you that are always on time. It's this orange, a small, frail fruit falling for all to see. This is what I think of when I think of orange. If you get the gist. But yeah, those are my 3 poems, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you so much for that, Deborah. I am now going to be inviting both poets to the couch with me to have a deeper discussion about everything that you brought to us today, as if that wasn't enough. So, can we please have both Alex and Deborah on the couch, please? Wow, thank you guys. How are you both feeling? Yeah, how are you guys feeling?
Quite relieved. And yeah, it's really very light. I think reciting those poems would make me feel that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely quite light.
I think less nervous.
Yeah, definitely. Because before I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I sat here and said, oh. So I know it's like the feeling of being in front of the camera is like, and because it's live as well, it's really like, I can't believe it. Oh my days. But yeah, I'm glad both of you are comfortable. I definitely agree with you. Like, it's such a beautiful set, and I think it definitely helps to like calm the energy a little bit. Yeah, I found all your poems so interesting, and what I love about doing this and like doing this each month is that like there's rarely a poem that I feel like I can't relate with. Like on some level, what is it, like a crush? Is it cost of living? Is it like situationships? Is it family dynamics? Like, bro. So it's so beautiful. I think that we get to like share vulnerability, like hear from so many beautiful poets, and like you guys are really honest and like go into depth about like your experiences. I feel like sometimes people don't, with good reason, want to like share like all the details about everything, but it's really beautiful when you're able to do that in a safe space, because I feel like people, ultimately what helps us get through things is knowing that we're not alone, like knowing that we can share burdens that we have with others, like people that are close to us or not. So yeah, I have made a few points. Alex, I think I'm gonna start with you.
Okay.
So actually, before we get started, I want to get to know a bit more about both of you's poetry background. So if you'd like to share your stories, how you started writing poetry, have you recited poetry publicly? How has that been? You know, was there a particular situation that led you to the paper? Like, I know, like that's going to be the case for so many people, because sometimes you just have things that I can't tell everybody about this, but I need to like, I need to get this out in some way. So, Alex, if you can go first, and I'll go.
Sure, thank you. I think for myself, I think I always liked English when I was growing up. So I loved reading, I loved writing. And I kind of used poetry originally as an outlet for my feelings and things I was dealing with when I was a teenager. Just as kind of a healthy outlet to express my feelings. But it was something I never really thought I would take beyond that. And it was one summer school I did back in 2010. So when councils used to fund these kind of activities, no shade.
No shade.
No shade. Massive shade.
Shade.
And I did one course, and the slam poet her name was Joelle, and she was just out of this world, amazing. And just the confidence she had made me more confident in my work. And I think after that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to try and take this further and do more of it. It's been a very on-off journey. There are some years where I've been into it, and some years where I haven't. But I think university really took me out of my shell. I, in a really great way, I got to do the African and Caribbean Society perform poetry for the showcase with my friend. And just getting myself out there more often, and I think it just kind of grounded me for the confidence that I needed today. I'd say that's my journey in a very basic nutshell.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you in like having a healthy outlet. Like sometimes people deal with things and then it's like very easy to just want to take it out on someone else, or like very deep in yourself to a point that you don't even know that it's there anymore. So it's so great that you're able to do that and like find a healthy channel to get things out and like get painful emotions out without hurting other people. And it's very powerful how like you just doing you is like contagious, and it's good energy, it's inspiring to other people, like you said about Joelle. And I know so many people that have also listened to your poetry probably have felt like a similar inspiration. So I really love that story. No pressure. Like
so with myself, how I started poetry. Again, it's this crush thing. Guys don't have crushes.
If only you could have
Don't you understand?
Like you could have
So
crushes.
much.
Nobody would easy. Like nobody would do that.
Anyway,
Just,
no, so I had when I started poetry, I was about 15. And I had a crush on a guy, and he was writing poetry at the time. And you know that time, the thing that you do to impress guys, you're like, stuff. So yeah, I started writing from then. Actually, I always wanted to write even before then, so it was kind of like a huge sign of to start writing. Since I've been young, I've always actually had a pen in my hand, and that sounds like I'm a rapper, but I'm not. So I always liked poetry. I always liked the form of it. It's a creative, lazy way of writing stories. And I've just loved storytelling and loved the way how it is. So during the COVID time, obviously when COVID was doing a mezzanine, that was the time that God was basically like, okay, I'd like you to take this writing thing seriously. So I was like, okay, cool, you know what, started writing, and then that's funny enough how me and Alex met. So we met literally last month. So it was just based on a poetry collective that I had, and I was like, okay, cool. DM'd her on LinkedIn. Be a LinkedIn warrior, it helps sometimes.
Shout out to LinkedIn.
DM'd her on LinkedIn, and I was like, this is something we're doing. It would be great to have you on board. And literally. So she's doing great, by the way. 6 of them.
Sorry.
No, you're doing 6. Not that it's her, that was almost good. You're the one saying I mean. If I ever start speaking right, you'll pretty that's how I started.
I literally love that so much. Like both of you have clearly had like a love for literature for a while, and it definitely shows like the pandemic was such a transformative time for people. Like just having that downtime, like nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Like it's like everything that you had been doing or like doing on a smaller scale, it's like come to the forefront. So it's really beautiful to hear that as well. I'm going to start with Alex's poem on being overwhelmed by the state of the world. I do not think there is any 20-something right now that can't like relate to that. Except you've got to this like beautiful place of like meditation and then like congrats to you, but like
I'm not there yet.
It's like every month like there's something new to contend with. Like you kind of feel like you're getting the hang of things, and then there's like inflation, and then there's like social media pressure, and there's this and there's that. Like so for sure, like I completely relate to that. When did you write that poem?
So you're gonna laugh at me. I actually wrote it a couple days ago.
Okay.
But I think it's definitely an accumulation of things I felt over the past few years for a while. But it was the first time I'd really put all my feelings on like paper. So I know the poem was inspired just, by the pandemic, just the fact that you weren't always sure what you're going to hear in the news, or
Yeah.
if you hear, like, I remember when they used to be death tolls, and you've seen those graphs,
And it's every day,
and every day,
Anyway.
every single day, like, we're rejoicing, like no one died, and that's horrible. So yeah, that definitely inspired like the feelings back then, and I think it was just also just other things going on like over the past few years that I really struggled to like make my peace with. Like I mean I have now. I did therapy, which I would definitely recommend. Shout out therapy.
Shout out therapy. Shout out therapy.
Feels amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I think definitely having that really helped me deal with those emotions there and then. But it was really therapeutic actually writing that poem a few days ago to really like not only reminisce on what I was feeling, but just kind of how far I'd come from that point. So I mean, it's not to say I don't have those days. I think anyone will still have those days, even with therapy, even with processing it. But it definitely was nice to be able to write it and reflect on how I felt back then, and then I never want to be there again.
Happy on the never want to be there again. Like,
Amen.
Come out of that kind of like dark period. Like when you're in it, it can be like, I'm just feeling sad. But then when you get back to feeling like yourself, and then you look back and you're like, what the hell was that? Like, I don't ever want to be in that kind of place again. So yeah, and I think it's definitely like a journey when you're dealing with things. You're moving from being a child, being like under the guidance of your parents, to like choosing how you want to live life, and dealing over time, like learning how to balance like the million and one things, the finances, the job, this, the that, like, and it's definitely a process and one that you for sure have to cut yourself slack on. So it's something that you're definitely like getting better at managing, but it's realizing that like it's gonna take time to get to a place of like equilibrium, and even then, like who knows, like that's just the natural way of life. So like I feel like it's definitely just about like managing it and moving along the way, so to speak. So yeah, that's so beautiful. Would you say that you moved to like a place of, I don't know, acceptance, or like you're more like at peace with things now?
Yeah, definitely.
Some days.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how I was. Sometimes, some 10% of the time.
No, signs. I know like this week has been trying me, so that's why I sighed. I was
This week
like,
has been weird for me as well.
I'm happy we're on the same boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely. I think. Sorry, I can't stop this. What was your question? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I was asking if you feel like you've moved more to a place of peace with things now and more acceptance.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a control freak regularly, so not being able to control things that were happening to me, especially the past few years, was really hard because like just things would happen. I'm like, why is it happening?
Yeah.
But I think definitely faith as well. I'm Christian. I think faith definitely has grounded my feelings and just that peace. And I think definitely this year I've had a lot of, you know what, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like whereas last year, like, oh, my life is over. Whereas now I'm like, you know what, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Like we're here, like we moved. I can't do anything about it. Like
honestly, so I'm just like, okay, like we keep it separate. Like, what else can I do? So I think that's definitely helped, just having time, maturity, therapy as well to process these things.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you.
Thank you.
Then moving to Deborah, just to talk again about like feelings of acceptance, or like moving from the pain phase or the confusion phase to like feelings of acceptance. Your first poem about like being the oldest sibling, there were definitely a lot of like deep feelings explored there. I know that anyone who's an elder sibling, I have a lot of friends who are elder siblings. I'm the youngest.
That's supposed to be nice.
I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that, but like definitely like that responsibility you have, you kind of become like a second parent. Yeah.
Headspace was more focused on, because I always knew that I was what's it called? I always knew it was a thing. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Not just with myself, with other girls that one of African descent, but also being like, so I'm from Sierra Leone, for example.
It's crazy how we all have the same shared experiences.
Like,
Imagine people as well have all grown up in the same house.
but being an older sibling, I think, like you said, you become the second parent, even with the second parent isn't there. So with myself, naturally, I'm very caring. I'm quite mature anyway, so I kind of fell into that role quite quickly. But again, I'm a Christian, so I'm not too thank God for God. Because that time was like TU double F. Yeah, no GH, no nothing like that. But you come out stronger and you come out even better. And again, it becomes a part of my story. Like, people look back and be like, oh, you're able to do so many things, or you're able to see things that people can't see. For example, like, I don't know, naturally I have that tendency to always care for my friends. And as much as it might seem traumatic, I think with myself, like, I'm at a stage now where, like, I'm so over it, but it's been such a advantage. Because I can be in those boardrooms or be in rooms and just be so naturally caring. You know what I'm trying to say? Not because not have the dependency that quite a lot of people may have. So I'm not out here like weeping like Jesus wept. Like, I'm not doing that stuff. But other than that, like, with myself, I'm not really thinking about it. I think it's just more putting pen to paper, like Alex was saying. That's what makes it now official. Like, okay, cool, this is something that you've experienced. And for you to write about it means personally you've gone over it.
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult for me to write. And the fact that I was editing it and looking back over it, and I even did it for my friend's anthology. Hopefully he's publishing soon, but I did it for my friend's anthology. So being able to have that now in the public eye, it's like, cool, I can talk about this. It's not something that breaks me.
I think that's so peaceful because, like, we definitely all go through difficult things in life,
for sure.
And as I'm growing up, I'm learning that there are actually phases to things. You're like, first of all, confused, you're questioning, then you move to like, okay, like, this is where we are, like, however I feel about it's not going to change it. So, like, while I'm sad, like, there's no point like ruminating and asking all these questions. And then you move from that to where you don't really like feel the pain anymore, like, you have to process it. And it's very useful when you're able to move from that phase and be like, okay, that happened, that's over there now, like, I'm not there anymore. I no longer need to like identify the pain that I felt. And I say it's definitely like phases, and it's really useful when you're able to move past that and like kind of pull people out that might be in that same space as well. Like, it's such a beacon of light to be dealing with something that's so like painful for you, or you even find difficult to talk about, but then you see someone else talking about it or sharing art that has to do with that, and you identify it, and like, that eventually like triggers something within you and forces you to move forward.
And you never know, somebody might have wanted to just hit a line.
Literally.
Like, and that would be like their moment to now go to like their quiet meditation space, or just their quiet time and be like, okay, this is what I'm dealt with, but right.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like what I'm hearing from both of you is definitely just like feelings of release, acceptance, but it's definitely so much like not holding things within you, not like staying in 2015 or staying in 2007, like where that happened. Because it's so easy to do that, like, and I feel like it can be very difficult to separate ourselves from like things that happened to us. It's like, it feels like, oh, like, this is me now, but it's not. Like, you get to come out of that, you get to change your story, like, whenever you feel ready, but like, that's an option that's always available to you. So I really love to hear from both of you, like, different topics, different perspectives, but like same kind of thing. I feel like it's gonna be time to go into the AI poetry very soon, but before that, I really want to talk about the love aspect. Oh my god, it's going to be like, oh my god, first of all, 20s, I feel like we're moving past that stage of like, it's weird because everybody's in like a different place. There's some people that are like still having their first kiss. There's some people that are thinking about getting married. There's some people that are pregnant. So it's just like, wow. It's just like so many different things are happening. You're meeting people. You're learning things about yourself. I would like to talk to you, Deborah. Sorry, Alex, about like your journey through like being in that situationship being hurt, coming out of that, finally ending up in a relationship where you feel seen, you feel loved, and is there anything particularly you feel like you've learned through that journey? About yourself, actually. About yourself more than anything. Because I feel like love is so funny like that. It's like all of these things are happening outside of you, but they always tell you things about yourself. So going through that, what are some new things that you've learned about the person you are, or how you relate with people, and how has dealing with the pain healed you in some way?
Yeah, I think firstly, experiencing the pandemic really helped me to process those feelings I had from not even just that year, but just years back of things that I dealt with and emotions I had. So the pandemic really forced me to look deeply into myself and really think, okay, couple failed things, quite a few failed things, like why do you think that is? It wasn't to say I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
It was more like, what could you do differently to change your outcomes? And I think when it comes to the and I don't mean to trigger anyone, but I know by like
we're triggering you.
but I know by like the end of 2020, I know by the end of 2020, I think I'd sold myself short so many times. And then towards the end of 2020, I was like, I want commitment. I want a relationship.
Like I want something different.
Right.
Like this nonchalance and portraying it's not me. And I think when I was honest with myself and honest about what I wanted, it made it so much easier to weed out things that weren't for me.
Yeah.
And then it meant that when I eventually did meet, my partner, it was like everything that I kind of wanted and prayed for.
Yeah.
Because the signs of kind of what I'd gone through, I think I used that to ground me as well. Remembering all the emotions and feelings I had, and like once we're done, and I think I'm quite happy to be able to be that sort of person.
Yeah.
But then using that thing to really just be like, okay, I don't ever want to be back in that place again.
Yeah.
But I think just also it was a mix of that, just seeing how his character was in the early days.
Yeah.
And also prayer as well. I prayed about it and definitely got very good signs. So
Yeah.
I'm thankful for those past experiences. I don't think they would have prepared me for what I have now, and made me appreciate it as well. So I'm forever thankful for, obviously sad to go through those things, but I'm happy I did because it just made me appreciate what I have so much more and actually want to fight for it and keep it going and make that next step.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you definitely realize that, like, although you go through difficult things, it's possible to make different choices.
Yes.
Like, you get to choose who you let in your space and what kind of like experiences you're opening yourself up to. And sometimes it takes you being in some really shitty situations. How do I never end up here again? Like, what can I do to never get to this place again? And Deborah, let's find your question.
See, I feel like all of these questions are they're even gonna trigger me. One of my friends in the lab are like, girl, that was not correct. So to make sure I'm answering the question directly, like what's my experience with love?
How is it changed? Like what has it shown you about yourself?
I think one thing it's definitely shown is the ability to have the standard I have for friendship and then bring that to any relationship.
Huge amen to that.
Like, because
huge amen
this
to
is
that.
do you know what I mean? Because I think sometimes like with the friendships that we have, we're such good friendships. Like personally, if you don't speak on with myself, like my friends hold such a high standard. It will be not difficult, but it will be a thing of if anyone's trying to come into my space or anyone that I'm trying to let into my space, there's a standard here. You know what I'm trying to say? And we've said it, so no disrespect to you if you're not meeting that minimum. Then I can't even class you as a friend. Let alone you being someone romantic or someone that I can see, spending a lot of time with. So I think with myself, I've really tried to learn how not to separate the two. Like realize that if I am getting a relationship with someone, I want you to be my best friend first, more than anything. And really get me and really understand me. Whereby, like with your best friends, like you look at them and you just laugh. Do you know what I'm saying? No one else in the room gets it.
They don't get what's going on.
But you get it. That's it. So I think that's one thing I've learned about myself. Like trying to make sure that if I am gonna bring someone in my life, having that groundwork being put there.
Yeah.
Because it's important, and you don't want to waste your time with anyone. Like, I mean, since I'm assuming that both of us are Christian, but scripture even talks about bad company corrupts good character.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm not even trying to put you in my space, like, respectfully, let alone you be in front of me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what it's all about myself, just putting that standard.
Yeah.
It's important.
I think that's like super important,
Yeah,
and I definitely get from you that like you're quite like a deep person, like
Oh,
very like,
thanks.
yes, emotional. I
So
can tell that like
much.
in your relationships, you're probably someone who's like both like platonic family and like romantic relationships. You're probably like very like invested and like super intentional, caring. And I feel like when you're that type of person, it's even like more important that you know what you're getting yourself into, because when you get hurt, it can be like
I'm gonna spin someone's door.
yeah. Like, what do you like? What do you like, girl? Like, come on, like,
go with me.
yeah, no, definitely. So, life will literally set you up to where you realize you think about yourself, and it's like, okay, I'm more empowered to make like better decisions or more informed decisions going forward. So, yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you guys so much. We only have 2 minutes left. I'm gonna run through the AI poetry. I feel like I hope we have time for 2, but if we can do even one, that would be really good. We're just gonna get it up on the screen now. Thank you guys for all your comments. I can literally see from here.
No,
Thank you guys for being so. I love that. I literally love that. I'm gonna go on YouTube and like see what everyone has said before this. So people are feeling relaxed. People are feeling good. We are just generating some poetry. Oh, nervous. Let's pick a comment to generate from. So we have a contribution from an unknown, and the poem goes. Would you like to read? I'll read. Oh, the vastness of the sky, a deep blue canvas in the night. Sparkling stars create wonderments on this canvas so bright, filling hearts with joy and awe as galaxies swirl around, each little star shining so proud, like a diamond in the night sky abound. Seeming so very far away, yet each one so unique, astonishing to fathom and ponder how this beauty is so complete, from the many different galaxies based on contribution from women. That's so good.
Yeah,
That's really so good. Shout out to the AI. I feel like that actually came from wonderment because I saw someone say that they were feeling wonderment. So thank you for this. I think that poet definitely like captures wonder, probably of like nature, just the universe around us, which is a beautiful thing and it's always available for us to behold. I'm not sure if we have time for another one. There's actually 9 on the dot right now. Okay, we'll do one more. We'll do one more. Who is this contribution from? Let's see. From John. Thank you, John. Feel Good is the title of this poem. Feel good, the moment is here. The sun is shining, distant and clear. Feel good, a new day is at hand. A chance at life, a chance to stand. Amen. Like, feel good, a world of possibility. The looks of joy, the blissful glee. Feel good from the striking dawn. A guiding light, the path is gone. Feel good, the time of joy and bliss. Colors of love, sweet gentle kiss. Feel good, a moment of pure elation. The heart soars, a breath of air in sensation. Feel good, be alive and free. Thank you. Oh my god. Those are such, both of them such beautiful poems. Like, I think they definitely speak to like saying that we have
sadly comes to the end of our show. I really hope you guys have enjoyed. I've certainly enjoyed myself. You have as well. Again, we're gonna have a live show on the 25th of August. It's gonna be in London. I really, really hope you guys can make it. Stay tuned to our YouTube, our Instagram pages. We're gonna be talking more about this in the next coming weeks as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope this has been an enjoyable evening and good night. Bye.
Bye.